Kevin Spacey has now officially been arraigned on a felony count of sexual assault that's actually named as indecent assault and battery. Now, the entire arraignment only lasted about 10 minutes inside this Nantucket courtroom. His defense lawyers filing documentation that said he's not only pleading not guilty, but that he's also challenging accusations that he groped a then 18-year-old boy.
Flying in by private jet and hounded by cameras. Two-time Oscar-winning actor Kevin Spacey appearing in court, expressionless as he listened to the charge that could land him behind bars.
Indecent assault and battery on person 14 or over.
During the 10-minute arraignment Monday on Nantucket Island, Spacey was ordered not to have any contact with his accuser, who says the actor groped him inside a popular bar 2 summers ago when he was 18 years old.
Our only request specifically is the stay away.
According to the criminal complaint, the young man, who was not present in court, was working as a busboy at this bar, where he alleges Spacey bought him several drinks before fondling him for several minutes. His mother, former Boston News anchor Heather Unruh, describing his shock when she spoke to NBC in 2017.
I don't think he ever thought of the possibility that in his lifetime he would be the victim of a sexual assault.
In a new court filing, Spacey's defense attorneys say Unruh's son claimed he was a 23-year-old college student and did not object to the alleged touching, adding that a Snapchat video the accuser sent that night to his then-girlfriend does not show anything that could be remotely described as assaultive behavior. The judge ordering the prosecution to save all messages and videos from that night after a request from the defense.
All I'm asking for is just to put a bubble around that data so it doesn't get destroyed.
In a statement Monday, the civil attorney for the accuser said in part, "My client is a determined and encouraging voice for those victims not yet ready to report being sexually assaulted." Spacey's lawyers entered a not guilty plea on his behalf to the felony charge of indecent assault and battery. A real-life drama putting Kevin Spacey once more center stage.
And Morgan, what's this about Kevin Spacey actually getting pulled over not long after that court hearing? What happened?
That's right, Savannah. He was pulled over for speeding after he landed in Washington, D.C. He was let off with a verbal warning. Meanwhile, when it comes to this case, he has a preliminary hearing scheduled for March 4th, although the judge said he does not actually have to physically appear in person. Savannah?
All right. Morgan, thank you.